everyone, welcome back to my channel, Create with Tina. I am so glad you're here today joining me. I'm excited because I am going to show you another two-page layout in my Floral Charms scrapbook kit layout series. So today we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about using your stamps and dies on your scrapbooking layouts, which includes inking, and then you're of course die cutting them, but we're also going to talk about watercoloring, and then we're going to do a little more of that fun edge rolling technique. But for this time we're going to do it to create fun borders on our scrapbook page that don't take any extra product or add that much bulk to your page, and so it's basically free using what you're already using to do your layouts. So let's get started. The first thing I want to do is give you an overview of what I'm working on today and a little sneak peek right under here of what I'm going to show you. But the things I will be using on this layout include the Charming Day bundle, which is a set of the stamps and the dies, and you'll see this is how the dies come. When you get your set, they come in an envelope, but on this paper carrier sheet. And what I like to do is transfer mine to this little envelope and magnetic sheet so that the dies are held in place. And these envelopes and magnetic sheets that I have fit securely inside of the case. So I just haven't done that yet, but we will be using the stamps and we will be using the dies. Okay, I'll move that out of the way, and just a quick peek of the layout. I'm going to show you more in a bit. Again, we're going to be using the new Floral Charms DSP, just like the fall layout I did a couple of days ago. And if you haven't seen that video, it will be linked in the playlist called Stampin Up Scrapbook Layout. So I do have it there, and it may be linked at the end of this video. And in today's layout, we're going to be focusing on this particular DSP, and I think it's beautiful. And the colors are Cajun Craze and Petal Pink, along with the new cloud cover and mossy meadow, and a little bit of pretty peacock in there. But just like I showed you in that other video, there are so many patterns in this paper pack that every layout I am going to create in this series is completely different from what you're going to see in any other layout. So that's the pattern I'm going to start with today. And then I'm also going to use the alphabet a la mode stamps, dies, pardon me. And like I said, the dies, they come in an envelope like this, and then I like to take them off and put them on the magnetic sheet. Now, I think many of you may have these dies already, as they were one of the things you could earn during celebration last year, but they are a wonderful set of dies. And again, they do have some of the letters that are used in other languages because Stampin' Up is a global company. But I am going to be using these dies, and then I'm also going to show you our adhesive sheets. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with them, but these are your best friend when using small intricate dies. So this is what a pack of one sheet of the adhesive sheets look like, and basically it's a thin piece of double-sided tape. And this right here is crumb cake cardstock, which is one of the colors I used in the kit. And so I wanted to show you, oops, see if I can get this off, just how I use it. So this is the carrier sheet. It comes off. Sometimes it doesn't come off quite like that. And I am going to stick this down right on my piece of cardstock. I don't even need to get it right to the edge because we just need the majority of it to be stuck down, just like that. Okay. And then, oh, where's my paper trimmer? Well, I don't see, oh yes I do. I see an old paper trimmer, an old Fiskars paper trimmer, and I'm going to use it. And so what you can see is that this part of the adhesive sheet I haven't used because I know I only need a little bit. I'm a lefty. I'm going to turn, nope, just like that. I'm going to stick this in the trimmer, and I'm just going to cut it off. Okay, so now I'm going to pull these away, but what you have now is you have this bit of adhesive sheet stuck directly to your cardstock, okay? And you're not going to take this backing off, but what you are going to do when you run it through your die cut machine is you are going to set your letters down, whatever you want to spell. And for this particular layout, I would be spelling the word days, and you'll see I'm putting the die cuts down so that the cutting side is down on the cardstock, just like that. And you will run it through your die cut machine. So I'm just going to show you what it's going to look like. I'm not going to run it through the die cut machine because I think most people are familiar with it. But you're going to run it through, and then when you cut it out, the letters will have adhesive on them already, and all you'll have to do is peel this little backing off and stick your letters down just like they were a sticker. So isn't that really cool? And it works really well with all kinds of images. For example, one of the die cuts in the Charming Day bundle makes these little tiny leaves. Show it to you. And even though you could definitely just add adhesive to the back, if you were to run this through with the adhesive sheet on the back, all you would have to do is peel it off and stick it down, okay? So adhesive sheets are really awesome, and that's another one of the products that I used on this layout. Now, I told you that I did watercoloring, and I did watercoloring because I used the stamp, okay, with Memento black ink, and I stamped a flower, and then I cut it out using the outline die like that, so that I had my own image that could be used as a sticker or a die cut on the layout. Sometimes when you just get the DSP packs from Stampin' Up, you need to add your stamped images to get the theme you want of your layout. Okay, so I did the same thing for the small flowers using this small die cut like that. So that's another thing we did, was we used our black ink and we used our dies to cut them out. Now what I did was I did some watercoloring, and this is where it gets interesting because, as many of you know, Cloud Cover is one of our brand new colors from Stampin' Up, one of our in colors, and I'll give you a peek. Just like that. Isn't that pretty? I think it's good and clear. I hope so. But the ink, it wasn't working well in the in the ink pad, and so they're working on fixing that problem. What they did find was that the Stampin' Up Re-Inker ink did stay stable over time and didn't change colors. And so a solution for that was to buy these, uninked Stampin' Spots. They look like this, and just re-ink them with the re-inker to get ink for watercoloring. And that's exactly what I did. I took my re-inker, I took a blank Stampin' Spot, and I inked it up, and this is what I got. Now to watercolor, I like to use a block, and I just press down on an acrylic block to get some color that I need on there. Another thing you can do is you could use the Stampin' Blends marker. This is Cloud Cover. This is dark Cloud Cover, and you could do something similar by coloring on your block. Now, I don't think you guys can even see that, and it's gonna give you a much lighter amount of ink to work with, so that isn't my favorite way to do it. And then I'm also going to do a little watercoloring with my Petal Pink ink, and I am just going to, on the other half of the block, add a little bit of that ink. Now you could do this right on your glass mat, or if you have an all-purpose mat, you could definitely do it that way. I just make a mess, so I like to do it on a block. Now, before I get to watercoloring, let's talk about that border I was telling you about. So this is just a water brush. The tip is stained from all the colors I've used with it, and you just unscrew it just like this to fill it with water, okay, so that you can water brush. Now you don't have to just use it for watercoloring. I'm going to show you a fun technique with it. So I'm going to take this Floral Charms DSP and I am going to tear the edge. Now I'm just pulling towards me, and the closer you keep your thumbs together, the more controlled you get when you tear. If you were to just grab this and shoop, you would get a crazy tear, and that might be something you are looking for. But if you want some semblance of a kind of straight border, just keep your thumbs close together as you're tearing, and you'll get kind of an even border going. Okay, so here's my border. And then what I like to do, and I showed this in the last video, is my water brush is nice and wet. So I'm just adding a little bit of water on that edge, and I'm going to wipe that off. And I'm doing that so now I can kind of do that curling technique. Okay, so I've showed you guys this one other time, but the reason why I really like it with this particular paper is because the back side of the Floral Charms DSP are these really vibrant, solid shades, and so you get a nice contrast. So remember when I was showing you this, I said the paper, the colors in this particular pattern were Petal Pink, Cajun Craze, Cloud Cover, and Mossy Meadows. But look what happens when you roll it. Okay, so then when you roll it, you get to see a little bit of that pretty peacock coming through too, which is this color right in there. So that's what I'm doing to make this fun little edge, and the water just helps me curl it a little bit easier. Okay, so there we go, we got this kind of fun edge. Now we're not limited to using it on DSP. I already did it on this cardstock. You can see I had gotten it a little wet and then I rolled it, and doesn't that look so pretty together? So there's your little rolled edge technique, and this is what I was saying, it's free and it really doesn't add that extra bulk to your layouts, which that it depends. If you like lumpy bumpy layouts, roll this bigger and make it bumpy and to your style. If you're more of a flat Stanley scrapbooker like me, then you get this little perfect amount of lift that isn't going to make your scrapbooks, your albums, as thick. Okay, so that's my first use of the water brush, and I am going to set this aside to dry. But now what we're going to do is we're going to take that same water brush and we're going to do a little watercoloring. So I'm just going to use my block. I'm going to pick up some ink, and let's see, did not bring a piece of scratch paper, but this right here is just the back of the piece of paper that comes with all of our DSP, and I often use it for all kinds of things. So just going to get a little bit of color, and then I'm just going to quickly add some color to these flowers. Now the darker you could, I'm doing the darker more on the outside edge of the petals, just like that. Okay, getting just that petal pink in there. And let me see, I could probably zoom in a little for you guys to see a little bit better. So just adding a little, and if your water brush gets a little dry, you just squeeze it, get a little more water on there. I also do that to dilute out the color so that I can do the rest of the flower just a little bit lighter. Okay, so that's all I'm doing to watercolor this image. And you'll notice this video, I'm not speeding up the video or anything, I'm doing it in real time, but I'm not worried about getting every part of the flowers colored. So now I'm going in and getting just a little more of the edges, the dark that I didn't get. Okay, so there's that. Now to clean it off, you can just squeeze out a little water and just tap it till it runs clear, and then I'm going to go in and cloud cover. Since this is a brand new inked little ink spot, it's kind of strong. Okay, so now we're going to do cloud cover leaves, because why not? So I have to play around because I don't want too much water, because water and paper, you know, they have their limitations. So you got to play around, and I do quick strokes because I don't want to oversaturate the paper. I also don't want to make the paper peel because this isn't watercolor paper. I am just using straight up white willow cardstock. Okay, so then I'm going to go back and with just even lighter amounts, just add a little bit, let's not mix those two colors, a little bit of the cloud cover ink. And if you get too much, you can always come in and dab some away. If you put it down and you're like, ooh, I'm going to wrinkle my paper for sure, have a little bit of a napkin or something next to you and you just dab it away. But you're watercoloring and there's really no right or wrong way. It's a very forgiving, beautiful look you can create doing that. Okay, so that's how I'm going to watercolor everything. Now let's move this out of the way and we'll move my block. And that's, I love the block because I don't have anything really to clean up. Okay, now, oops, I missed one petal. I see that here. Let's get a little more. I missed one little leaf. Not a petal, a leaf. Okay, so there we go. Now this needs to dry. So when I am scrapbooking, I will make all of the parts I'm going to watercolor first and then give them time to dry. It soaks through just a little bit, but I want it to have time to dry. So that is the watercoloring and the paper technique. So now let's talk about that layout that I told you I was going to show you. All right, so here's page 1. And what you're going to see is that I'm going to use my Stampin' seal. And, oops, is it empty? Let's hope it's not. Nope, it's not. I'm going to add a strip of adhesive. Now, everyone uses differing amounts of adhesive. You use what you like. I don't like my edges to bubble or ripple, so oftentimes when I'm doing a strip, I will go all the way down. Okay, so now I've got those two together. I feel like it's not very straight, but that's what happens when you do things on video. Okay, now I'm going to turn this little guy and hopefully start on the, I'm still zoomed in, aren't I? Let me unzoom. Let me unzoom so that you guys can see everything. There, sorry about that. Added my adhesive. Let's get the whole layout back in picture for you guys. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is make sure that I've got these lifted up, the very edges. Now normally I wouldn't put the layout together this way. I would put it all, you know, I would do the accents last, but for brevity reasons, I didn't want to keep you guys here forever watching me do this layout. So I did some of it ahead of time and I'm just picking up this little leaf and setting it down. So there you go. Now look at that. So here's what I want you to see. I even did, I'll pull it close for you guys, even paper tearing and rolling on the focal point photo mat. One large photo mat right here in the middle. So I carried the design from the border all the way to the edge of my photo mat, and I carried this paper down here, and then I carried the color theme around with my watercolor images. So right here on this layout there are just 2 watercolor images, and then these little guys, these little flowers, and I only stuck down the stem because by leaving this loose, this gives the illusion of even more bulk and movement on your page without adding extra product and making it bigger. Okay, so all of these, let me remind you, in the bundle, these all come in the die set. So the die set is really nice because not only does it give you dies that match the stamps, but it also gives you standalone dies that you can use to make different parts of the layout. Now look how pretty this branch image looks. This piece isn't glued down yet, but isn't that beautiful? And then here's where the days came in. So cutting those with the alphabet a la mode, and then I just had a little banner piece right here and stamped the word happy also from this set. Okay, happy birthday, just using the half of the stamp to get happy days. All right, so as promised, let me show you the entire layout. So here is page 2. See how that looks? I think you can see, let me zoom out a little bit so you can see the whole thing. Let me move the ink pad. Now, it's not a complicated layout at all, but it works together beautifully for several reasons. You have balance because you have the cardstock going all the way around the page, so there's continuity. You have the rolled image technique on both pages, so you have continuity there. So we've rolled, we've rolled, we've rolled, and we've rolled. And then you have this pattern, a triangular pattern that helps your eyes move around the page to see all the elements, all the photos. So this, another reason why I love this layout is because of the amount of photos I have on it while still having a lot of decorative elements. So there are 6 photos on this page, and can you imagine how many more could be on there if you decided to add flip-flops anywhere along the page? So there you go. That is everything that I wanted to show you. So I want to encourage you guys to try using stamped images on your scrapbook layouts. If it's a line design like this, try watercoloring. Look at die cuts. Die cuts they add so much, just like a sticker would. And then also try these fun little techniques so that you can add dimension to your page without adding extra product or extra work. You use what you have. So there you go. If you like this video and you found it helpful, feel free to subscribe or to like. I would love it. I'm doing videos regularly. In the description below this video, I will have a link with the complete supply list of everything that I used. And probably the most exciting thing is I will have an 8-page scrapbook kit guide available for those who grab the supplies from my website. But that is coming, and I will be sure to let you know. So lastly, I would love any comments about something new you learned or something in here you want to try that you've seen before but never tried and want to try in a layout. So thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Bye!